Hello, welcome to Stretford Paddock. We're here for the team news for Man United against Tranmere in the fourth round of the FA Cup, sponsored by... Interesting one, that. Not sure. Anyway, the game's at Prenton Park today. If you've seen any footage of the pitch or pictures of the pitch, it's going to be a bit of a scrappy one. So I reckon that will influence the team news slightly. We're still just waiting for that team news. Like I said before, it should be coming out in a couple of minutes. The squad has been released, and it's one of those ones where you look at it and go, that isn't the best squad of all time by any means, is it? We'll have a quick look through that if I can just find it in a second before we get the full team news out. But let me know in the comments whether you're looking forward to the game, what you're expecting in terms of a score, what you think, what kind of team we should put out as well, because even though it's only, I say only Tranmere, bigger upsets have been seen, this is probably our best chance of getting a trophy this season. So I think it wouldn't be wise to necessarily play all the kids. If we just look at the squad, then we've got De Gea, Romero, Grant, and then Wan-Bissaka, Dalot, Jones, Maguire, Lindelof, Bailly, Shaw, which is pretty much a full-strength defence except for Brandon Williams. Then the midfield options for the game are Matic, Fred, Pereira, Gomez, Lingard, Mata, and then up front it's Chong, James, Greenwood, Martial. It's very thin, isn't it? Like, there's 2 or 3 players in each position that stand out, and other than that, I mean, it's just kind of... I don't know. And the worst thing is, that's not even really our second string squad. That's our first team at the moment. And you see it laid bare on paper like that, and it doesn't really stand up to much scrutiny, does it? Pitch looks shocking. It looks absolutely shocking. Any thoughts on today's Sunday supplement? I haven't seen today's Sunday supplements. If you want to give me some of the sort of cliff notes for that, I'd be happy to comment. But I'm not sure exactly what you mean there. Just want to see a good performance. Yeah, I'd like to see a good performance as well, and some goals. No Garner, Levitt, Timbo, or Laird isn't good. Yeah, it's interesting. There's been a lot of rumours of some of those players going on loan. There's a talk of James Garner maybe going on loan in the Championship somewhere or League One. So yeah, it's strange that they've sort of dropped out of the squad a little bit, because they look like, especially Garner. Garner made a couple of appearances. Levitt made one, and Laird made one as well. I'm surprised we haven't seen them feature since, really, because I don't think they were bad. As the team news comes out here, then let me just get to that on Twitter. Here we go. Looking like we might be having a back three. I'll just go through the names there. We've got Sergio Romero in net, Diogo Dalot, Lindelof, Maguire, Jones and Shaw. So it does look as though it will be a back three of Lindelof, Maguire and Jones. And then the midfield of Matic, Andreas, Lingard. I guess Lingard will probably be... it's going to be a difficult one. We might see a little diamond in there. We might see those split strikers as we saw against Liverpool. Anyway, let's Lingard, Martial and Greenwood. Let me go through that again. So it's going to be Romero, Dalot, playing as looking as a right wing back, and then a centre back trio of Lindelof, Maguire, and Jones, with Luke Shaw in that sort of left wing back spot. We've got Matic, Andreas, and Lingard in midfield, and then again, I would guess a split striker partnership of Martial and Greenwood. The first time, assuming it is a split striker pairing, is the first time we've seen Greenwood starting as a striker for a few months. So that will be interesting to see whether how sort of he pairs with Martial. Obviously, with Rashford being out, it's probably going to be something we might see more often. And looking on the bench, then we've got Grant by Williams, who wasn't mentioned in that squad list before, as far as I could see, but is in the squad. So. Interesting one, that obviously wasn't a correct squad list that was put out before, because Brandon Williams is on the bench. And then we've got Fred, who's taking what I would call a well-deserved rest. And then we've got Mata, James and Chong as well. James, another one, looking like they need a bit of a rest. Yeah, it's good to see him kind of sitting on the bench for a bit. There's a commentator the other day who said, when someone's on the bench, it's not really a rest because they're basically kicking every ball from the sideline. What a load of rubbish that is. I've ever played 90 minutes of football. It's tiring.
Does that mean I've run the London Marathon?
Steve's run the London Marathon because he watched it on telly. He was taking every step from the sofa. Absolute rubbish. So yeah, it is a rest for them, and I think a much deserved one as well, especially, well, deserved and needed. We've seen definitely sort of slowing performances from James and Fred. I just think, luckily, one good thing he does seem to have is a sort of a petrol tank, because he's played a lot of games coming from a league. He came from the Ukrainian league, which clearly isn't as fast as the Premier League. Then he didn't really play much for a year, and then now he's started every game for the last sort of 6 months. So it's no surprise that he's in need of a rest, and it's probably a good person to rest as well. Let me know what you think to the squad. Floating Man says Greenwood needs a midfield to feed him. Yeah, I think this midfield, what we got, Matic, Andreas, Lingard, not full of assists. Is it fair to say that midfield's not full of assists? I think, again, it's Tranmere, isn't it? You would hope to see the best of players like Lingard and players like Andreas in games like this. A bit more space, a bit more room on the ball to find those through balls, especially Andreas, who does seem to have a ball in his locker, although often it sort of stays in that locker, unfortunately. But yeah, hopefully we won't be seeing those kind of longer shots that have become almost the trademark of that midfield at this point, with Fred and Andreas just taking pop shots from anywhere. Alex Bagley says, Hi, Alex. What time are you getting here, mate? Bring snacks and Coke, the drink. Oh, no, we've got Coke. Well, bring some more Coke. Oh, no, there's loads. Okay, forget that. I'm going to read this word, and it might be rude because I don't know what it means. Prototivity is the key to winning. That sounds like an energy drink from like a fictional, it sounds like Prototivity, the energy drink brought to you by the Green Goblin or something. Is Gomez still alive? I can't believe he hasn't had a sniff today. Yeah, that is interesting. What? I'm surprised. Huh? Yeah, if you get the team sheet up, bring that up just so everyone can see it. Just put it in a nice visual way. Look, that's what we're going for there. To be honest, I'm looking forward to seeing Dalot play. I'm looking forward to seeing Greenwood having a more central role. And see, it's times like this, right, where Greenwood being left... I mean, Greenwood's very talented on both feet, admittedly, and he's just so talented that it shouldn't matter anyway. But the fact that he is left-footed, he's the only left footer we've got in our attack now, except Juan Mata, who's clearly sort of on his way out. And I think being able to play on both sides, both feet, it just is just an extra string to his bow that allows him to... He just slot perfectly on that left-hand side there. So, yeah, I think seeing him play will be good today. Should have a bit more space than he gets in the Premier League. 1-1 with Cagliari. Is that the Inter game? Nice assist from Ashley Young there, former club captain, of course. Did we really just go 5 at the back versus Tranmere? I think you'll see mostly it as a 3 at the back today. We saw with Conte, under Conte at Chelsea, a 5 at the back is only when you're defending. Really, it should really be 2 extra men in midfield and sort of 2 wingers, especially with Dalot on that side. I don't think we're going to see it in the defensive sense like we did against Liverpool. I think it's going to be 3 defenders and extra men in midfield rather than the other way around. Yeah, it just depends which way you frame it. I think 5 at the back. Is Dalot's annual appearance before another injury? Potentially. Eric Bailly will not be good for this pitch, Ole said. Guess not. Well, yeah, it makes sense, doesn't it? If anyone's seen the pitch, we haven't got a picture ready to put on here, but it basically looks like, do you know when you go to like the park or a beach? It looks like that. A lot of sand, a lot of water, bit of grass. And it looks very bobbly. So, yeah, I don't think this is good for someone returning from injury like Eric Bailly. So I'm not surprised to see him on the bench there. You mean 3 at the back with Shaw in no man's land? Potentially. But I think you don't even want to say that we don't need to defend, because it's not even the defending where we have the problem. We're decent at defending. It's set pieces, which Tranmere, I'm sure, will have been practicing all week. Because even if it wasn't United, you would assume that a team from League One's best chance of beating a team from the Premier League is going to be a set piece. And then now they obviously know it's United that they're playing, and they know that we're the worst team in the Premier League at defending set pieces. They have got a decent chance of getting a goal today. Hopefully, we should get 4 or 5 at the other end. But don't be surprised to see Tranmere score, which is just ridiculous to say. But it's not actually our defending which is bad. It's our sort of ability to get through certain situations like set pieces, which will be the thing that can undo us. And that's why that is such a dangerous position to be in, because you can concede a set piece against anyone. Under 14s, you can concede a set piece against. I guarantee we concede from a corner, yeah. It's a cat litter box, not a pitch. That's very rude, but quite funny and quite true. I'd absolutely love it if Tranmere win. Floating man, what? You're in here all the time. Don't be saying that. Should Maguire have a rest if he's torn his hip? Yeah, I don't quite understand that either. You would think Maguire would be due for a rest, wouldn't you? Unless he's just recovered from it, but I don't know. It seemed that turnaround was very quick, wasn't it? I'm surprised we didn't see Well, it looks Rojo's been linked with a return to his former club in Argentina, I believe. So I guess that's why he's not in the squad. And then after that, Lindelof is playing. Phil Jones is playing. So it's either Bailly or Maguire, and Bailly's just coming back from an injury. So I don't think we have much option unless you're willing to play Eric Bailly. Why Maguire today? Kind of explained it, but still not quite sure myself. I don't. Does anyone know where Axel Twanzebe is? How do I say it? I always pronounce it wrong. Twanzebe is. Where is Axel Twanzebe? He's been injured. Then he was back training. Then he was not injured. Then he's injured. Then he's. I don't know. We haven't heard an update recently, but I guess he's not ready to play. Solskjaer will find a way to win in his mind. Don't know what that means. Why are Gomez and Chong not playing? I don't know. I'll be honest. I'm surprised Andreas is playing. Not only do I think he's been quite poor recently, I think he's played a lot of games for someone who, again, like Fred, has never played in so many matches at the top level before. Obviously, he played in Spain, but no offense to Spain, playing for a mid-table Spanish team doesn't quite have the same intensity as playing for, let's say, a mid-table Premier League team. Anyway, right, that's probably going to be about it for now. Rojo will be included in the Bruno deal. I don't think he will be from, everything that's been reported. Jones, Matic, Andreas and Lingard all starting a match in 2020. How have we come to this? Yeah, pretty scary, isn't it? But to be fair, I think Jones is only playing because we're playing through at the back because of our lacking sort of attacking and midfield options. Matic is playing again, lacking midfield options. Andreas, again, lack of midfield options due to injury and poor recruitment. And Lingard, I think people thought he probably would be playing this much, to be honest. He's had a poor sort of few months now, but I think generally Lingard, up until the whole Raiola sort of situation, has been kind of playing, and understandably playing. Cam Water says, "You look nice today, Joe. Can't wait to give you a hug." You're in the comments. Why don't you just get here? He's meant to be producing this show, and he's not here because he'll be playing football. Stop commenting. Start driving or being on the tram or whatever you're doing. Anyway, can we sign Carrick? I'd love to sign a 26-year-old Carrick now. That'd be absolutely perfect, wouldn't it? Right, we're going to be back. Me, Stephen Howson, and Alex are going to be back in little under an hour for the watch-along for this game, of course. Be sure to check that out. Surely a chance for Garner today. He's not in the squad, so I guess not. Be sure to check that out in a little bit. So we'll be back for that. Give us your score predictions as well in the comments, and we'll see you in a bit.